Thursday morning, I stood in the kitchen holding a cup of coffee I couldn't even remember pouring. The scent rising from the new coffee machine wasn't strong enough to push away the emptiness creeping into my chest. Liam was glued to his phone screen, same as every morning. Emily, my 7-year-old, was busy squeezing condensed milk over her cereal, drawing loops like she was performing some kind of sacred ritual. I glanced at the wall clock, 7:43, still no message from my wife, Jenna. She'd been on a business trip for 3 days in Denver. She was scheduled to stay there a full week, longer than usual. Jenna worked for a major advertising company, and whenever there was a big pitch, her schedule was packed from morning until late at night. During past trips, she still found time to send a quick message each evening, checking in on the kids, sharing dinner photos, even pictures of her with coworkers. But this time, complete silence. I had called, texted, no response. "Dad, why isn't Mom answering me?" Emily asked, her eyes wide. I sent her a picture of my new teddy bear, and she hasn't seen it yet. "Maybe she's in a meeting, sweetheart," I said, trying to sound calm. "She'll write back when she's done." Easier said than believed. The unease hung over me like a heavy shadow. I tried to shake it off. Jenna was good at her job. So good, in fact, that I sometimes wondered if she lived just to work. She once told me her career was the only thing she could truly control. I wasn't like that. For me, home was everything. Right then, while watching Emily sway to the cartoon music on the TV, an idea struck like lightning. Why not fly to Denver? "What do you think about surprising Mom?" Liam looked up from his phone, raising an eyebrow. "You mean just show up at her hotel?" "Yeah. We fly out tomorrow night. She'll never see it coming." Emily gasped, then burst out laughing. "Like those surprise shows on TV?" I nodded. My palms were already sweaty just thinking about it. But what was wrong with it? A husband and 2 kids dropping in to see the woman they loved during a long work trip seemed perfect to me. By noon, I had called my boss and asked for Friday off. He agreed right away. I booked plane tickets, found a hotel close to Jenna's, not the same one, to keep the surprise alive. The rest of the afternoon was spent planning, reminding Emily to pack toys, and asking Liam to help book the airport cab. One more time, I tried calling Jenna. The phone rang 4 times before going to voicemail. "Babe, the kids and I miss you a lot. Call me when you can." I put the phone down, feeling a strange hollowness. The screen said, "Message delivered, not seen." I told myself, she's just busy. Denver's packed with ad events this season. It's not that she doesn't care, she just doesn't have time. That evening, while Emily slept clutching her teddy bear, I sat in the living room looking out the window. Denver was unfamiliar, but I looked forward to seeing Jenna open that door, surprised, maybe even crying. I'd pictured it 100 times in my head. 18 years together, and Jenna had never once said no to my attempts at surprises. No matter the ups and downs, I always believed she was the one place I could come home to. This trip, I thought, would prove it, or at least I hoped it would. The flight from San Diego to Denver lasted under 2 hours, but the weight in my chest felt like stone. Emily sat by the window, asking non-stop about Denver weather and if her mom's hotel had a pool. Liam sat across the aisle, earbuds in, eyes on his phone, but he kept glancing at me. Suspicious. I checked my phone again. No missed calls, no new messages. I tapped call. It rang a few times, then straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. My fingers clenched the phone until my knuckles went tight. "Calling Mom?" Liam asked, pulling out one earbud. His voice was calm, but his eyes gave away the concern. "Yeah, probably still in meetings," I answered. Liam nodded and put his earbuds back in, but I knew he wasn't convinced. He was always sharper than most 14-year-olds. After landing, we took a cab to the hotel Jenna had mentioned before. She said her company booked her a room at the Pearlstone Hotel, near the biggest convention center in Denver. I had booked a triple room at the hotel across the street, close enough to keep watch, far enough to preserve the surprise. I planned to take the kids to dinner, then swing by Jenna's hotel with a small cake and 3 handwritten cards. Everything was perfectly prepared. I even wrapped a gift. A wool scarf Jenna once pointed out at a store but hadn't bought because it felt too indulgent. The cab slid past tall buildings and turned onto a busy street. When it stopped in front of the Pearlstone Hotel, my heart picked up speed. "Stay here for a second, okay?" I said, keeping my voice casual. "I'll check if Mom's in her room." Liam nodded. Emily was too busy playing with her new doll. The hotel lobby was quiet, bathed in soft yellow lighting and faint piano music from speakers hidden in the ceiling. I walked up to the front desk. A young woman with neatly tied brown hair smiled politely. "Good evening, how can I help you?" "I'm checking on a guest, Jenna Collins. She's with Valor Advertising." She typed for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, Miss Collin is staying here. Would you like me to call up to her room?" I nodded. She dialed, waited a few seconds, then said softly, "I'm sorry no one's answering. Would you like to leave a message?" I tried to smile. "No need. I just wanted to confirm she's here." She nodded, but just as she was about to finish the conversation, she paused and glanced back at the screen. Then she said gently, There's one thing." I narrowed my eyes. "What is it?" "Miss Collin has another guest registered in her room. I can't disclose names, but the reservation lists 2 guests." I stood still for a few seconds. A small, high-pitched sound rang in my ears, not from the room, but from somewhere inside my head. Like a vessel had just snapped. "What do you mean?" I asked, voice lower. "I'm sorry. It could be a colleague. We don't have more details," she quickly added. "I may have said too much. I apologize." I nodded, pulled out my wallet, and quietly booked a room on the same floor. Walking back to the cab, my hands were cold, lips dry. I said nothing as I climbed in, only told the driver to take us to the hotel across the street. Inside our room, Emily jumped on the bed, thrilled with the city view. Liam walked over just as I shut the door. "Is something wrong, Dad?" I looked at my son. His face carried both the softness of a boy and the weariness of someone older than his years. "Let's eat in the room tonight," I said, my voice rough. "We'll go see your mom tomorrow." Liam didn't ask anything else, but his eyes, full of doubt and caution, tracked my every move. Pulled out my phone and typed a short message to Jenna. "The kids and I are in Denver." Sit. No scene. Outside the window, the city still glowed bright, but inside me, every light started to blur. I waited until nearly 10 p.m. Emily had fallen asleep on the couch, still clutching her teddy bear. Liam pretended to be glued to his screen, but every 10 minutes or so he glanced my way. I stood, slipped on my jacket, shoved my phone into my pocket, and said softly, "I'm stepping out for a bit. If Emily wakes up, just tell her I went to get water." Liam nodded once, said nothing. I crossed the quiet street, my palms already soaked. The Pearlstone Hotel lobby was nearly empty now, just a night clerk behind the desk, casually reading a book. I avoided eye contact, walked straight to the elevator, and pressed the button for the 7th floor. Room 716, 717, then 719. I stopped at 718. The air outside the room felt still. I tilted my head. Soft jazz filtered through, mixed with a low, masculine laugh. I pulled out my phone and typed, "Jenna, I'm outside room 718. Message sent. Inside, the noise stopped. About 10 seconds later, the lock clicked softly. Jenna appeared, not in her neat work blazer, but in a beige silk robe, loosely tied, her hair tousled, cheeks flushed. She didn't look surprised. Not panicked, just frowned. Like I was the one ruining something. "What are you doing here?" Her voice was low, rushed. "Surprising you," I replied, eyes fixed on the robe slightly open near her chest. Emily wanted to hug her mom before bed. And Liam? He already figured it out. Jenna stepped fully into the hallway, instinctively pulling the door nearly shut, but I had already caught a glimpse. Men's shoes by the sofa, 2 wine glasses still beating with condensation, and a dress shirt draped over the chair. "Who is he?" I asked, voice steady in a way that frightened even me. "He's just a colleague," she replied, eyes darting to the side. Right then, the door behind her opened again. A tall man stepped out, probably mid-30s, brown hair slicked back, his face still flushed from wine. He hesitated when he saw me. "Jenna, everything okay?" Then he turned to me. "Hi, I'm Neil, from the Chicago office." I stared straight into his eyes. "Did you know she has a husband?" His pause told me more than any words could. Neil glanced at Jenna, then swallowed hard. "No, I didn't." "Really?" Jenna cut in. "Hunter, don't make a scene." "He didn't know, Jenna," I turned to her. "Because you never told him. You brought this man to your hotel room, in the same city as your daughter, while ignoring your family for 3 days. And now, you call that not a big deal?" Neil stepped back, his face pale. "I should go." "Good idea." As he disappeared inside, Jenna exhaled. "We'll talk later, Hunter. This isn't the time." "I'll talk whenever I damn well want," I said through clenched teeth. "How long did you think it'd take before I found out? Or did you think I'd never come here?" Jenna stayed silent, avoided my eyes. "How long?" I asked. "A month? A year?" 3 months, she said, still not looking up. I gave a dry laugh, cold as ice. 3 months of working late, huh? 3 months of our daughter writing you bedtime notes. You took every word she wrote and slept in someone else's arms? Hunter, her voice cracked. "It's not as simple as you think." "You're right, it's simpler. You cheated, and I flew over 600 miles to find this." I turned away, walking as if every step shattered glass beneath me. Behind me, Jenna didn't call out. Didn't try to explain. Just the soft click of a door closing. Yet it echoed in my mind like a gunshot. I returned to the hotel across the street in silence. Yellow streetlights glowed over the freezing sidewalk, casting a shadow beneath me that looked like a different man. Someone who once believed his wife was just busy with work. In our room, Liam was still waiting. Emily was sound asleep on the bed, still clutching her teddy bear. Liam looked up as I walked in, his eyes asking for answers. I just shook my head. "We'll head home tomorrow," I said quietly, shrugging off my jacket and sitting on the bed's edge. "Early." Liam stared at me. "Did you find Mom?" I nodded. "Is she okay?" "She'll be fine." I stood, walked to the window. The lights from the Pearlstone still flickered in the distance. A minute later, I heard a soft knock. Liam turned toward the door. I didn't have to ask who it was. "Should I open it?" he asked. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. The door opened and Jenna stood there, hair brushed, lipstick faint, wearing a dark coat, like she'd just come from a meeting instead of a betrayal. "Can I talk to the kids?" she asked. I stepped aside without a word. She walked in like a performer hitting her mark, eyes scanning the room. Emily still slept. Liam sat motionless, his gaze sharper than any frown. "Sweetheart," Jenna started, her voice gentle. Liam replied, too calm. "We just saw each other in the hallway. Did you forget already?" She hesitated. I walked to the minibar, poured a glass of water to keep from exploding. Jenna leaned over Emily, brushed her hair, kissed her forehead. "I'm sorry I missed you, baby. I had a really important meeting." Liam looked at me, waiting to see if I'd tear her mask apart right then and there. "We were supposed to go somewhere together, remember?" he asked, his voice nearly icy. "Or do you have another meeting tomorrow?" "I'll spend the whole day with you two," Jenna replied quickly. "Can you step out for a few minutes?" She looked at me. "I want to talk to Liam alone." I turned around. "If you've got something to say it here, in this room. To our son without a script." No one spoke for several seconds. "Mom did something wrong, didn't she?" Liam asked, eyes still locked on Jenna. "Dad won't say it, but I can see it." Jenna didn't answer. Her hands touched the edge of the bed, then fell away. "Sometimes adults make mistakes and don't know how to fix them," she said. "Then can you be honest?" Liam stood up. "You slept with someone else, while saying you were on a business trip. While Emily was at home writing you letters, putting stickers on cards, and counting down the days to see you." Jenna trembled. I thought she might explode, but she didn't. "I'm sorry," she said, eyes red. "I don't need an apology." Liam stepped back. "I just want you to stop treating us like we don't deserve the truth." I stepped forward, placing my hand on his shoulder. He pulled out his phone, put his headphones back on, and turned away without another word. Jenna stood frozen. The air in the room had turned so thick that every breath felt like a burden. "Can I stay here tonight?" she asked, barely above a whisper. "No," I said firmly, "not in this room. Not with two kids looking at you like you're a stranger." I opened the door. Jenna looked up at me. No anger, no begging, just a quiet helplessness in her eyes. She stepped out. I closed the door behind her. Liam took off his headphones and looked at me. "Are we really going home tomorrow morning?" I nodded. "Thanks," he said, then lay down next to Emily. I stood there for a long time, listening to the hum of the heater, trying to gather the remaining pieces of everything that had shattered. The next morning, I got up before everyone else. The room was still dark, with only a faint light sneaking through the curtains, casting a pale gray on the ceiling. Emily was sound asleep, one leg draped over a pillow, arms clutching her stuffed bear, like someone might take it away. Liam lay facing the wall, his shoulder rising and falling with each breath. I went into the bathroom, washed my face, then quietly slipped on my coat. I needed air. Needed to get out of that cramped space for just a few minutes. The hotel lobby was oddly quiet in the early morning. I sat at the corner cafe downstairs and ordered an espresso. My mind was still a mess of fragments from the night before. Jenna hadn't texted or called, as if nothing that happened was worth following up on. Then the chime of a message startled me. It was her. "I have a client event this morning. I'll head back to Chicago tomorrow night. I'd like to take Emily out this morning if that's okay." I stared at the message for a long time. No apology, no explanation, just an itinerary. I typed a short reply. "She'll love that. Don't be late." When I returned to the room, Liam was already awake. He was sitting on a chair, staring out the window. "If she doesn't show," he said, "I won't be surprised." I placed a hand on his shoulder. "She'll come." Emily woke up a few minutes later, still groggy but immediately alert at the mention of Jenna. "Mom's really coming? Where are we going?" I forced a smile. She has something planned. Just eat breakfast first. Jenna arrived right at 9 a.m., wearing a long navy dress, hair down soft, carrying a purse like she was ready for a perfect outing. Emily ran to her like she was the whole world. Liam gave a small nod and turned away. "You can rest a bit," Jenna said to me in that fake sweet tone. "I'm taking her out for ice cream. Maybe stop by the park." I nodded, said nothing. Liam waited until the door shut before speaking. "Do you really think she's meeting a client?" I sat on the edge of the bed, looking at him. "I don't," I said, "but sometimes you have to let someone prove whether they deserve a second chance." Liam nodded slowly, asking no more, but his eyes followed his mother and sister through the glass, as if memorizing every detail, before it all fell apart. By noon, Jenna brought Emily back. The little girl was beaming, showing off a bracelet her mom bought, talking about mint ice cream and getting her face painted like a mermaid at the park. "Are you going out again tonight?" Emily asked, dressed and hugging her pillow for a nap. Jenna brushed her hair. "I'd have dinner with a major client, but tomorrow I'll spend the whole day with you. I'll wait for you." That line twisted like a knife. After Emily fell asleep, Jenna pulled me into the hallway. "I'm not making excuses," she said softly, "but I need time to untangle everything. Work, home. I'm a mess." I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "I won't say anything to Emily, not today, but Liam's different. He already knows." Jenna looked at the floor. "I know. He looks at me like I'm a stranger. And I see it clearly." I replied. "You're still lying to protect your image, not for them." Jenna clutched her purse strap tighter, lips pressed. "Who's your dinner with tonight?" I asked calmly. She blinked longer than usual. "Not Neil," she said. "His boss. But it's not personal." I turned away. "Take good care of Emily. Tomorrow morning, I'm taking the kids back to Chicago." "Hunter, I won't destroy your image in our daughter's eyes, but you will if you keep walking this path." I returned to the room and shut the door. Liam sat at the desk writing while watching me. "Want me to help pack?" "Not yet. Morning's fine." "I'm glad we're going home." I nodded. Though neither of us said it, we both knew. The home we were going back to was no longer the same. Late in the afternoon, after Emily fell asleep from exhaustion, I asked Liam to walk with me around Sloan Lake near the hotel. He didn't say anything, just nodded, grabbed his coat, and followed me down the elevator. The air outside was crisp, leaves rustled along the lakeshore in the lavender glow of sunset. Denver was peaceful, but inside me were 100 unanswered knocks. We walked side by side for a long stretch, saying nothing. Liam nudged Pebbles with his shoe, eyes forward. "She's not really meeting clients, is she?" His voice wasn't shaky, it wasn't sharp, it was steady, so calm it hurt. I stayed silent for a few seconds, then replied, "No." Liam stopped, turned toward me. She'd lied to us. She lied to all of us. A breeze swept past. Liam stuffed his hands in his coat pockets, eyes on the rippling water. "I figured," he said quietly. "Ever since she started coming home late, glued to her phone, skipping dinners. Every time I asked, she said I was overthinking." I nodded. No defense. "I want to believe you," he continued, his voice hoarse. "I really tried. But the harder I tried, the more fake everything felt." I placed a hand on his shoulder. "I'm sorry you had to carry that feeling alone for so long." Liam sighed. A long, heavy sigh far beyond his years. "I won't tell Emily, she couldn't handle it." "I know, and I won't either, at least not until I absolutely have to." We kept walking, our steps heavy along the paved path by the lake. In the distance, the cafe lights were starting to flicker on. "I'm not mad at you," Liam said suddenly. "I just feel sad." "Sad about what?" "Family, what we could have kept if Mom hadn't done what she did." I gave a slight nod, my throat tightening. "Are we going to be okay?" he asked after a pause. "We definitely will," I said, for the first time that day with a solid voice. "You've got me, and so does Emily. We won't let adult mistakes keep hurting you." Liam gave a faint smile. "So, where do we start?" I looked up at the darkening sky. "We start with a real dinner. No pretending, no lies." "Pizza okay?" he asked, a flicker of relief in his eyes. I nodded. "As long as there's extra cheese. I need something greasy to wash out this bitterness." We returned to the hotel with 2 hot pizza boxes and 2 bottles of soda. Emily was still sound asleep. Liam and I ate out on the balcony, talking about the latest basketball game he watched, his new teacher at school, and the pranks he planned for his classmates. Now and then, I caught him looking at me, quiet but steady. He wasn't just a kid needing comfort anymore. He was a companion, a boy learning to be a man amid the wreckage. And we made it through the night together. No shouting, no anger. Just a father and son trying to hold on to the parts of a family that hadn't fallen apart. The door clicked open as I swiped the card. Emily sat crouched on the bed, hair messy, face tight. "Where's Mom?" "She's back, sweetheart." I stepped inside, Liam behind me holding the remaining pizza box. Jenna sat at the desk, phone in hand, but paused when she saw us. Her eyes swept past Liam, then landed on me. "What did you say to him?" she asked in a low voice. I tossed my coat over the chair. "His name is Liam. You can call your son by his name. We agreed not to say anything to the kids without talking first. You already broke more important agreements than that one." Emily's eyes widened. "Are you two fighting?" "No, honey," Jenna cut in, sitting beside her. "Mom's just a little tired." Liam stayed silent, set the pizza box on the table, then sat by the window, headphones on, eyes fixed on the street like nothing happening inside mattered anymore. "I don't want him to hate me, Hunter," Jenna whispered. "I know I was wrong, but you can't just tell the story your way. I don't need your permission to be honest with our son." I leaned against the dresser, arms crossed. "Liam isn't 8 anymore. He connected the dots himself. You only make it worse by pretending." "Kids need something to believe in," Jenna shot back. "You took that from him." "No, you did that. You chose betrayal. You handed everything to someone else while your daughter was writing you 'Mom is a hero' cards every night." That line made her freeze. Emily watched silently. "I'll get my bear," she said softly, then slipped off the bed and headed for her suitcase. I turned to Liam. "Hungry?" He pulled off one earbud. "No." Jenna looked at him, then said quietly, "Liam, I'm sorry." He didn't answer. You don't know everything. Adults make mistakes. You didn't break a vase, Liam said, finally. You didn't forget a school meeting. You walked into a hotel room with another man. Not from stress. Not for work. Jenna went pale. She turned to me. See? He learned how to be cold from you. It's not cold, it's clarity. I walked over, sat beside Liam, and placed my hand on his shoulder. We're leaving in the morning. Going home. Jenna stood, paced, then turned back. I could come too. We'll talk more when Emily's not around. I'm not letting our daughter leave with someone I can't trust anymore. Emily looked up, her eyes clouded. You're not coming with us, Mom? Jenna knelt in front of her. I've got work to finish here, but I'll be home as soon as I can, okay, Princess? Emily nodded, but I saw the confusion in her eyes. Jenna stood, her eyes red. Hunter, please. Don't turn me into a stranger in front of them. Then stop acting like one. I turned to Emily, rubbing her back. Tomorrow, let's go see the mountains. You still love snow, right? Can we build a snowman? As long as it's not one with two heads like last time. She giggled, pat my knee, then climbed back into bed and hugged her bear. Jenna watched the scene for a moment, then quietly grabbed her bag. I need some space. I'll come back tomorrow. I didn't walk her out. The door closed behind her. Quiet, but we all felt something crack deeper. Something beyond repair, beyond hiding. The flight back to Chicago was wrapped in silence for 2 full hours. Emily slept against my shoulder. Liam never removed his headphones, staring out the window like trying to see through the thick clouds. Jenna didn't come with us. She showed up at the airport, hugged Emily tight, told her to behave, then walked away so fast I didn't hear what she said to Liam, if anything at all. He didn't ask, and I didn't explain. Now back home, no one mentioned what happened in Denver. I helped Emily unpack, took her to the park, and pretended nothing heavy waited behind the living room door. 3 days later, Jenna texted, "We need to talk, not for forgiveness, but to end this the right way." I agreed to meet at a familiar cafe on Oak Ridge Corner. It used to be our favorite spot when we were dating. Now, it was just a nameless memory. She showed up right on time, sat across from me, and didn't waste a word. Hunter, it didn't all start in Denver. He wasn't surprised. He simply waited for her to continue. I met Neil at a conference in Chicago back in May. It started as work, then crossed a line. She looked down, fingers interlocked. 3 times. 3 times I made the wrong choice. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want you to know the truth. He leaned back in his chair, eyes fixed on the once familiar face. 3 times? She nodded. There was no one else but Neil, but even that is more than enough to lose everything. He didn't feel angry. The fire had burned out in Denver. What remained felt more like ashes. I keep doing it if you knew it was wrong. Jenna exhaled. Because I didn't feel seen as a woman anymore. Just a mom. A person who cooks after work. A name on a financial spreadsheet. He nodded slowly. You could have said that, chosen honesty, not secrecy. I was a coward. Your words, not mine. They sat in silence for a few minutes. He finished his now cold coffee, pulled a stack of papers from his bag, and placed them on the table. Divorce papers. I've already prepared them. She gave a faint nod. I want custody of both kids. Not to punish you, but because I don't want any more disruption. Emily needs stability. Liam has already made his choice. I understand. I won't keep you from seeing them, but I need some space to sort things out. Jenna picked up the pen, her hand trembling. Do you still hate me? He looked at her for a long moment. No, I just can't trust you anymore. She signed. No tears, no begging. It ended quietly, just as it had begun. 3 weeks later, the paperwork was finalized. She moved into an apartment a few neighborhoods away. No one saw her off. No one tried to stop her. Emily started asking why Mommy no longer slept at home. He told her Mommy had worked far away but would visit. She believed him. At least for now. Liam remained distant. He never brought up his mother. No blame, no questions. Just focused on finishing homework, helping with dinner, and and occasionally playing with his sister without rolling his eyes like before. One evening, while he was cleaning the kitchen, Liam came in and leaned against the doorframe. "Are you angry with Mom?" He shook his head. "Not anymore." "Do you ever think about forgiving her?" He paused. "Maybe, but forgiving doesn't mean going back." Liam nodded and walked away. Standing in that kitchen, staring at the two empty chairs by the dining table, he wondered when peace would finally return. But the next morning, when Emily beamed with pride for tying her own shoelaces and Liam texted to remind him about the parent-teacher meeting, he knew the only thing worth holding on to was them. Not Jenna, not us. Just himself and the kids. He wouldn't lose again. After everything, Hunter was no longer a man who blindly trusted promises. He had become a steady father, clear about what to protect and what to let go. The broken marriage didn't destroy him. It taught him how to rise for his children. Though his heart still carried scars, he chose peace as his compass. Amid the ruins, Hunter didn't lose everything. He kept what mattered most, the unconditional love of Liam and Emily. What do you think of Hunter's choice? Was he right to end the marriage? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to follow the channel for more meaningful stories about family and life.